the kind of schedule that you put to yourself that just made you act in this way?
No, no, no. Look, there are differences and differentiation from day to other, but the main action is the same
Mm-hmm.
because it is it include going to the office, maybe shopping, some relative visiting, especially for my mom,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all. Nothing changed.
But
Nothing changed.
that's quite interesting. Like how is this different from your ideal day? When we talk about your ideal day, how is it different from the kind of day that you're talking about right
Um,
now?
You are
By
right.
the
This is a
way,
good question. Yes, this is a
by
good
the way,
question, but yes.
by the way, is
Mm.
my voice clear or loud?
No, no. It is not loud, but it is not clear. There is interrupting in your voice.
Interruptions?
Yes.
Like, is it the kind of interruptions that you get when the internet is bad, or it's just my
I
voice is not 100% clear?
No. It's clear, but I think the internet is not good.
I think the internet is not good from your side, not my side. Um,
I
uh,
agree about that. I agree because I'm suffering from the bad internet some days ago.
connectivity. Okay. Well, because I'm paying 100,000 Iraqi dinars for the internet, so I don't think that the kind of quality you get is very terrible.
You are right about that. No, I'm
Okay.
paying just 45. Return back to your question about the ideal day. Maybe the ideal day
Ideal.
that yes, ideal day that I'm thinking about is not available in my week, or I cannot find it
Until when?
among our. Hmm? Sorry?
Until when? Until when? Like, when do you think this normal day, your ideal day, will come back?
Look, I think the ideal day is when you are starting your business
Hmm.
or your work early morning and
Okay.
return back afternoon to the house, getting
Mr.
lunch with your.
Mr. Osama, is my voice
Yes,
clear now?
yes, it's clear.
Okay, perfect. I think it
Uh,
was my fault, not your fault.
okay, that's good for me.
Well, it is good sometimes to admit mistakes. Do you admit mistakes?
Mm.
Do you admit mistakes or not? That's my
Admit
question. Do you
admit mistakes.
do you say yes, I made a mistake, or you're just like other people who do not or refuse to say, well, we made some mistakes?
I don't think so. Other people, no.
I'm talking about you. Do you say
Hmm.
when you make a mistake, do you say, well,
Ah,
I'm sorry, I just
of
made a
course.
mistake?
Of course, because I believe by the
That's my
yes, I
question.
believe
That is
by
my question.
Arabic. Yes, I believe by the Arabic slogan. If we can say it slogan about
Um,
it.
it's
الاعتراف بالذنب فضيلة.
it's well, it's a saying. أبسط كلمة
Yes,
ممكن نقولها هي كلمة saying، مقولة
yes.
مأثورة. أو إذا
Hmm.
تريد تروح تصير كلش technical فالمصطلح مالتها proverb، مو verb، proverb
Hmm.
اللي هو
Okay.
مثل،
Hmm.
مثل مأثور يعني يسمونه proverb.
Hmm.
هسه احنا
Okay.
نبدي بالليستة مالت المفردات.
Hmm.
اليوم عندنا we have three things in our agenda of today.
Hmm.
Because if we do not have things in our agenda, like
Hmm.
what maybe you will see later,
Hmm.
uh, is the whole plan to take the test is going to collapse.
Hmm.
Before we start, no matter what we talked about so far is not related to the topic of our discussion for tonight.
Okay.
And our discussion of tonight is related to the
Hmm.
structure of IELTS writing.
Hmm.
In the upcoming meetings, we will focus more on reading and listening.
Okay. Very good.
Well, the word very good does not describe your performance in listening.
Hmm.
خوش بسمع هذا.
Until now, yes, of course. I know. I feel it.
it's a concrete type of nails.
And touch my bone.
You know, I'm the kind of person who does not obligate people to do any assignments because as a teacher, and
Mhm.
this is something that may surprise you. As a teacher, we do not believe in homework.
No, no,
Um,
Walid. I
Let me
apologize.
finish.
I'm
Listen.
very sorry. Sorry.
No, no, no. You don't have to apologize. You don't have to say I'm sorry. This is not a sin. This is not a mistake you made.
Mhm,
But let me finish.
mhm,
What I want to say is that I do not believe in homework.
mhm,
So I don't think that this is a sort of homework. This is a
mhm,
task. Now,
mhm,
the difference between homework and a task is this.
mhm,
When you are giving homework,
mhm.
you are supposed to do something that satisfies the teacher's mood or intention.
Okay.
I am not a teacher, so I'm not giving you homework. I'm
Mhm,
just your friend.
mhm,
Now, how is this different from the word task? Usually, in successful companies around the world, they have project goals and objectives. By the end of the day, by the end of the week, by the end of the year, they have set of objectives and goals to achieve.
mhm,
Maybe they do not achieve these goals, but they complete around 70, 60, 80, 95% of the objectives. I
Okay.
I look to you from this perspective
Mhm,
that you still have time and you're still
mhm,
preparing and you're still synthesizing, you're still processing IELTS.
mhm,
Uh, and I want you to understand that this is one of the easiest tests in the
mhm,
world
mhm,
compared to other forms of tests.
mhm,
It's easy because it's not a vague test. It's not mysterious test. You can
mhm.
go check the structure and the framework and the content and you take it. You've taken the test before. You've had a
Yes.
chance to see what it looks like and looking at looking at the score that you got
Mhm.
um, in your test that was in your test that was taken in
Without preparation.
and in in May. In May,
Mhm.
you took the test. No, you didn't take the test in May. You
I
took the
think
test in
August,
July. In July,
July, July.
yeah, it was almost 3 years ago.
Mhm,
You have grown dramatically better in three
mhm,
years. You have traveled a lot. You have made so many contacts.
mhm,
Um, you have listened, watched, spoken, so many things. So I don't think that within that period, your level has deteriorated.
mhm,
Deteriorated, يعني
mhm.
تدهور.
Yes.
Um, I'm concerned about your writing because you got 4.5 in writing. I am not concerned at about your speaking because you got 7.5 in your speaking.
Mhm,
And I am not concerned, well, I'm concerned about your reading and about your writing because you got 4.5 in reading and you got 5.5 in writing. Correct me if I'm wrong.
mhm,
And
mhm,
building on that, I noticed that since you have lots of commitments and you have a very juicy schedule every day,
mhm,
you mentioned it's really hard and challenging to make the ends meet. To make the
mhm,
ends meet. يعني هذا مصطلح كلش يستخدموه الأمريكان والبريطانيين
mhm, mhm.
إذا سامع بي to make the ends meet. يعني يجيب الراس على
Mhm.
الراس. شلون نقول بالعراقي؟
To make the ends meet. حلو.
يعني يا ريت يعني يا دوب يرتب معيشته بس أنا هذا
Mhm,
استخدمته حتى يا دوب ترتب وقت للtraining
mhm,
in writing.
mhm,
So the point that I want to mention here, I am giving you tasks, and since you have time, and I hinted to the
mhm.
time where you should plan to take the test next time, probably if you
Yes.
can afford traveling to Dubai and take the test, that
Mhm,
is really going to help us be pushed and cornered in time.
mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
now we have three things in our agenda of today.
Mhm,
First, I want you to give me a deadline for completing the listening section. so I can grade and see where your performance in listening. I mean, you're doing great in listening so far. I'm
Yes,
just
yes, yes.
trying to open that window to
Mm-hmm.
help you balance the skills
Mm-hmm.
here.
Okay, okay.
In terms of writing, tonight I will ask you to write 3 tasks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for writing 3 questions.
Okay,
And for each one of the questions, you're supposed to write between 250 to 275.
okay,
275.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
Are you writing that down or should I write that down?
No, I'm writing that.
Okay.
But okay.
We will see a sample of the essay, and we will discuss your performance in your latest essay.
3 texts between 270?
Yes. Now, this leads me to my question. Did you watch the link of the video that I sent you?
Oh, it's not working. I will share it with you just right now.
Okay.
Look,
If it is not working, that means
yes,
that
look
the
at
link
that.
is...
It said to me that this video has been removed from the uploader.
Oh, okay. So probably I sent you the wrong link,
Mm-hmm.
which is again my mistake.
Um,
Let me...
before completing, sorry, Waleed, but there is a link between the delay why I cannot completing my task in listening and your question, which is the ideal day, because I didn't finish my answer. The ideal day that the working day end at 3 or 4 o'clock, and the
Mhm.
other time is for my task, for my duties,
Of
my
course.
personal things, my family. But in Iraq, I'm just I'm not finishing my working just before
Nobody
your call.
nobody will finish their work.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm still working until wallahi before 2 days I still work for still work for 1 o'clock
until
early morning. one
until one
o'clock early morning.
until one
That
o'clock
that's
in
one
the evening.
o'clock. Yes,
And it's actually 1 a.m. You can say
1 a.m.
1
Yes,
1
1
a.m.
a.m. 1 a.m.
Mhm.
So the deadline maybe
It's
inshallah let's say at Saturday.
mhm.
Good for you. Saturday,
Well, I'll just put it in my calendar here, and we
Friday
will
or
see.
Saturday. I don't mind.
Well, I mean, it's okay. I'm telling you this, just a quick reminder. I feel obligated to just remind you, but not to coerce you. To
Yeah, I know.
coerce إنه يجبر أو
Hmm.
يرغم. To
Okay. Yes.
coerce you.
Okay. Hmm.
Coerc. I'm using these words intentionally because I want you to write them down and
Hmm.
use them as daily vocabulary exercise. They will help you a lot.
By the way, I like to use synonyms always, not
Mhm.
to use the same word. So I like to use coerce instead of force.
Oh, okay. I think that's gonna help you a lot,
Hmm.
actually.
Hmm.
And honestly, I don't think that is going to be any that will not do any harm to
Hmm.
the way you write things.
Hmm.
But generally speaking, I mean, I come to the samples that got really high scores in IELTS, and I think Osama can write so much better samples.
Hmm.
This is an example here.
Hmm.
Check it out. Do you agree that the advantages cars bring outweigh the disadvantages? The answer is very clear here. See, خلينا ناخذ هذا السامبل بعدين نروح على sample. أنا ليش قلت لك that we have 3 tasks for
Okay.
or yeah. So
Yeah.
we just have uh, 3 tasks to
Hmm.
write. Um, I want you just to have a look at it.
Hmm.
Just read it. Give me any comments.
Hmm.
I will give you around 3 minutes, and then we will talk about it. Just read.
Shall I read it loudly?
It's up to you.
Okay. I like to read it loudly to correct me the pronunciation of each wrong word.
You mean out loud?
Out loud, yes.
Okay.
Using cars has been becoming increasingly common in recent years. Although I think that it maintains some obvious harmful consequences, I strongly believe that the advantages of the car can outweigh its advantage. On the one hand, owning cars has a significant influence. By the way, when we were study at the College of Pharmacy, we used to pronounce this word significant, not significant.
Yeah, just like analysis.
Yes, yes, analysis and analysis. They told us that this is the pronunciation of Britain. Britain pronunciation significant, while the American one is significant.
As if they were in Britain and they heard them say that word. It's actually a pretext, ذريعة, when they make mistakes and they have high hubris. Hubris مصطلح أدبي أو hubris معناها العزة بالإثم، يعني إنه عنده فالأنا فكلش عالية، إنه يعني even if they make mistakes they refuse to say، فيلقون ذرائع بديلة إنه أوكي هذا اللفظ البريطاني. من نجي نتحدث عن اللفظ البريطاني يعني كمختصين، مو أني يعني أني قطرة بحر حقيقة لا شيء مقارنة بالمختصين، بس من نجي نتحدث عن اللهجات اكو فيديو أنا مسويه أتمنى تشوفه على موضوع اللهجات. واحنا نتحدث عن اللهجة البريطانية لأنه كل شيء متوارثيه، يعني إنه أوكي اللهجة البريطانية. في حين المجتمع العراقي ما سامع شخص بريطاني يتحدث أكثر من 10 دقائق.
صحيح
يعني لا بأخبار ولا بأي مكان سامعين بريطاني يتحدث. من نتحدث عن الشخص البريطاني، بريطانيا مليانة ولايات ومليانة مهاجرين ومليانة أشخاص، وذول الأشخاص هم بفئات عمرية 10 20 30 40 50 60 سنة. في أي فئة عمرية نتحدث عن فئة 30. زين هذا رجل لو أنثى؟ هذا مثقف لو ما مثقف؟ هذا اختصاصه قانون اختصاصه قانون لو اختصاصه مو قانون؟ هذا هل هو مختص باللغة؟ على أي أساس؟ زين احنا من نيجي نتحدث عن هذا الشخص، واحدة من أهم مسائل القياس باللغة الإنجليزية هو التعميم. يعني أنه بالصين هناك أشخاص يتعلمون الإنجليزية أكثر من سكان الولايات المتحدة اللي يتعلمون صيني. فهل هذا يعني أنه الصين هم native speakers والأمريكان يعني نسبة التعميم؟
Absolutely not.
لا. فهذه دراسات علم الاجتماع والأنثروبولوجي. احنا من نتحدث واحدة من مسائل انتشار اللغة هو قابلية التعميم مالتها. ايش قد نسبة البريطانيين يتحدثون باللكنة البريطانية؟
نعم.
قليل جدا. اللكنة الملكية اللي يتحدث بها الناس اللي يتمنطقون حاليا هي تشكل فقط 3% من سكان لندن. لندن بس لندن يتحدثون بهاي اللكنة، وهاي لكنة المحاكم اللي مو كل الناس تتحدث بها، بس الطبقة الأرستقراطية والغنية. فهل هذه تعتبر هي ستاندرد لو 300 مليون إنسان بأمريكا وبريطانيا وبأوروبا يتحدثون الإنجليزي العامة؟ ياها اللي إمكانية التعميم مالته أكثر. فهذا موضوع جدلي حقيقة جدا. فمن يجي شخص ويقول أوكي هذا لفظها بريطاني، يعني أقول أوكي خلينا نتفاهم يعني. لأنه هذا يسمونها الجغرافيا اللغوية، التوزيع الجغرافي للكنات واللهجات. اختصاص الناس يأخذون بآلاف الماجستيرات والدكتورات يعني. فمو من السهل أنه يجي واحد سامعها. يعني الناس قضوا بها عشرات السنين يسوون بحث هذا الموضوع. فمو من السهل أنه واحد يقول هذا لفظ بريطاني، مو صح. عموما this is not our topic of today.
Yes, but your information is so interesting. So my question is, both pronunciations are right, but the significance is more likely used?
let me explain this to you and elaborate more and illustrate it to you.
Mm-hmm.
We have a door, and the
Mm-hmm.
door opens the house.
Mm-hmm.
You can have 2 or 3 keys to open this door,
Mm.
but
Okay.
you cannot have a knife to open this door.
Mm-hmm.
If people say, well, we're pretending that this knife opens the door, that's not right. You need to
Mm-hmm.
have a key.
Mm-hmm.
So there are limits to pronunciation.
Mm-hmm.
There are limits. So when we say, for example, knife, knife, some people say knife, some
Mm-hmm.
people say often, some people say often, some people say often, some people
Mm-hmm.
say oven.
Mm-hmm.
Like the variety of pronunciation
Mm-hmm.
variations out there. But
Mm-hmm.
if people, but if a person says
Mm-hmm.
knife, that's not English.
Abnormal. This
that
is abnormal.
that is not within the correct pronunciation boundaries and limits.
Mm-hmm.
It cannot work as an alternative
I got the
because
point.
simply nobody speaks within that word.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we know? We check dictionaries, British and American, because they are common. We have Australian and Canadian and New Zealand and many countries in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, in the world, there are around 196 countries.
Mm-hmm.
65 of these countries speak English as their first or second formal language.
Mm-hmm.
So we cannot say that British and American are superior to other nations because English is very global language.
Mm-hmm.
It is not restricted. However, within the globalization of this language, there are limits. Like
Mm-hmm.
nobody says knife, nobody says sar for car.
Mm-hmm.
See? So the idea is that we have limits. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
go to United States, walk in any place in the United States, you are in the United States. But once you are in Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
you're not in the United States. You see
Mm-hmm.
the point? So, okay, you can say it this way. Like, for example, the word analyze. Some
Mm-hmm.
people say, huh, this is one example. The word analyze.
Mm-hmm.
People in the United States spell it with Z. So they write Z, analyze.
Yeah. Analyze.
People in UK
Mm-hmm.
spell it with S.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them are acceptable. But if a person comes and says, well, analyze is spelled with C, that is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That is not correct. That's not within the limits of, possibilities. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like chess play.
Mm-hmm.
There are openings and there are paths,
Mm-hmm.
but some paths are not acceptable because they don't work. That's the point. Going back to my question, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
this is very complicated topic.
Mm-hmm.
It is very, very complicated to the point that the father and mother do not speak the same as their children because they're
Mm-hmm.
coming from different era. They have different
Mm-hmm.
background in education.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes to a point that everybody speaks his own or her own way
Mm-hmm.
of English.
Yeah,
Everybody is
that's good.
distinct. Everybody is distinct. But they are distinct and distinguished within the limited number of vocabulary they speak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see
Okay.
that. I see that.
That's the point that I'm sorry this is not part of our topic, but
No,
going
no,
back
no,
here.
no, 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 no. I'm just get the benefit from your speech. Okay. Using cars has been becoming increasingly common in recent years, although I think that it maintains some obvious harmful consequences. I strongly believe that the advantages of the car can outweigh its advantage. On
Disadvantage. Okay,
uh,
would um
there is a mistake.
well,
The
it's not.
advantage is repeated two times.
No. Well, yes.
I strongly believe that the advantage of the car can
Outweighs the
outweigh it's supposed to be
disadvantage.
disadvantage.
Yes.
Okay.
I think there's a mistake here, but this is not our topic.
Hmm.
Um, I'm sending you the document here. I think it's preferable to open the document so we are on the same page instead of reading.
Hmm.
Um, we are not after reading this essay. We're just after structuring and understanding the the framework, if you hear me.
Mhm.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay. Now, look at the first paragraph where it says, I strongly believe that the advantages of the car can outweigh its disadvantages.
Okay.
هذا احنا نسميه statement. Okay, we call it statement. Now, what is a statement? Statement is your position about the question in the essay.
Statement is just like my point of view.
البيان وجهة نظرك وجهة نظرك بخصوص السؤال يعني اللي انسألت به.
مثار البحث نعم.
فاحنا دائما نخليه بالفقرة الأولى آخر السطر، يعني هو مو ضروري يكون تحديدا بهذا المكان. It's not specifically located here, but it can be within the first paragraph because the first paragraph is necessary to lay down the introduction here. هنا بدي يقول using cars has been becoming increasingly common in recent years. هو مجرد يمهد الطريق للparaphrasing مالت السؤال. Second paragraph, on the one hand, third paragraph, on the other hand. You see that?
I see that.
Final paragraph in conclusion.
Okay.
Are we clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this helps with grammatical range and accuracy. هذا إضافة إلى cohesion and coherence. هنا حقق المراد be a statement, cohesion and coherence. قال on the one hand, بعدين قال on the other hand. We go to the first paragraph. It's just the summary of what he thinks about. Owning cars has a significant influence on the environment. The first reason, he's adding justification, traffic jams and accidents. More cars are likely to result in rocketing rates of pollution. Secondly, this is another transition. So he's quite significantly increasing the transitions, how the logical sequence. Okay. People may have higher chances of carrying more potential health risks like obesity and heart attacks. هذا statement آخر. On the other hand, there are many reasons why people prefer to own cars. Firstly, when he says many reasons, he's going to state more than one reason. Are we clear?
Yes, we are.
Firstly, it provides people with the freedom of movement, the ease of transportation, which a car brings is significant, prominent, or prominent than any other form of vehicles. For example, he's adding examples here. احنا قلنا لازم تكون
give examples.
Lexical, point and illustrate and give examples here. Then he says therefore. Do you see therefore?
Yeah.
And then instead of saying for example, he's saying
you can go from a destination
instance,
to another.
No, he's saying for instance. تشوف for instance فقرة قبل الأخيرة.
Before the conclusion?
Yes. For instance, you can read books, listen to your favorite songs, or even play with kids while you are in your own car. تشوفها؟
on your
car. قبل الأخيرة السطر الرابع من جوا.
Yes.
هو الفكرة وين؟ ما دا يقول for example مرتين، دا يقول for example, therefore, for instance, finally.
Okay.
اترك الملف. Just leave the document and look at this one here. هرسل لك ال updated one, okay? Check this out. Did you open it?
The second one, both of them is the second one.
Yeah, I know, but the next one is different.
It's opening now. Just 1 second. Yes, it's sample one. Do you agree that the advantage car bring outweigh the
تشوف
disadvantages.
اكو تضليل؟ تشوف تضليل؟
إيه, yes, I see it.
اوكي. الفقرة قبل الأخيرة أكو finally, for instance, and in conclusion.
Yes, finally, families can go together. For
كلمة
instance,
finally مظلل.
finally, يعني لقيتها. نعم, مظللة. نعم.
Okay, perfect. This is my point.
Mhm.
So هذه يسمونها cohesion and coherence، أنه دائما أكو تناسق وأكو ترابط. If we go back here, Guy, I strongly believe that the advantages of the car can outweigh its disadvantages. On the one hand الفقرة الأولى. On the second hand الفقرة الثانية.
نعم.
He's mentioning many reasons. كاتب firstly.
Many reasons ومعددهن for the advantage and for disadvantage.
Perfect. كاتب for example, كاتب for instance, كاتب finally, and in conclusion, having a car can lead to a few obvious problems, but I believe that owning a car is the best choice, and the benefit that it brings about can outshine its drawbacks. فبدل ما يقول outweigh advantages and disadvantages كاتب outshine its drawbacks.
A question, Waleed, please. Am I allowed to use finally and in conclusion?
You can say,
I cannot use finally for talking about the conclusion without using in conclusion. Is there any repeating here?
No, there is no repetition, but I prefer you stick with in conclusion because this is the standard. This is kind of like market standard for saying conclusion.
Okay.
And I prefer you stick with that one particularly because it's so common in academic writing. It's just an indicator that you're familiar with the style of writing here that we do have. Now, this is task 1. What I want you to do is I've listed the questions in the Google document for this one, for other ones that you will check them out later. Well, once we're done, I'll send you the link if you don't have it. But this is question number 1. I want to see a sample here because I do believe that we can imitate this sample here and come up with very good sample. We're not reading because this is it's not our job, to read. Our job is more likely to be analyzing the structure of the essay and see what we can do better in order to do something similar. Let's move to task number 2.
So for review, I have to write a sample of this task, which is talking about the advantage and disadvantage of owning a car.
Yes, and عندنا 3 مهام إلك، 3 مقالات. 3 مقالات احنا بدنا نناقش السؤال. أنا أريد نموذج على نفس هذا السؤال تكتب لي إياه بالجوجل شيت. الأسئلة 3 موجودات بالجوجل شيت، راح أرسل لك الرابط. لكن حاليا بدنا نحلل structure شلون تصير لأنه كلش easy. حتى نختم هذا الجزء أشوف السامبلز, I give you feedback and then we move to task number 1 اللي هي تحليل diagrams and graphs and تحليل المخططات البيانية. لأن هذه همتين لازم نركز بها. تحتاج تكتب 150 كلمة عليها. فيحتاج أنه نسوي شوية practice عليها همتين.